All right, so we're gonna do some textbook problems. It's kind of a mixed bag. There's two real easy ones and one really hard one. We're gonna do a practice exam, and then tonight I'll send out the P22 exam. Hopefully, it'll be a little bit shorter class. Not well, there's one textbook problem is kind of an ugly one, but and then excuse me, if you have any questions on the last problem on the handout, stick around after class. I can go over that if you got you're not getting it to balance out or something. But yeah, so let me go ahead and get the check something really quick. I'm sorry. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
All right. Getting a weird notification. Okay. So down here at the bottom, E22 dash point 3 and P22 dash 3 are not too bad. This one in the middle is the terrible one. So we're going to leave the terrible one till the end. Okay. So let's take a look here at all the information we have. This is the Vince Gill company. He's a country singer. And we're just going to do this, the operating cash flows from operating activities. Okay. Well, what do we start out with? Yeah, you guys are sleeping already? That's not fair. We start out with our operating activities. I know you guys know this because you guys have already posted stuff in Blackboard. You already finished it. Nobody knows we start out with on the operating activities?
We'll start with the net income.
Yeah. Good. So we're going to take this net income. All right, now let's go through here. And we're going to look for the accounts. We're looking for things like depreciation, things like current assets, current liabilities, all that kind of stuff. So I tell you, when you find something, either put it into chat or just yell it out. And don't worry about where it goes in here. We'll make adjustments as needed. Okay, I tell you what, let's go on to the additional information here. We'll take these one at a time. What do we do with this one? Accounts receivable decreased during the year. 360,000.
So the income increased.
So yeah, so yeah, when it's kind of like over here that when the asset goes down, accounts receivable decrease, cash goes up. We'll put it here. Yeah, I'm just gonna put it equal and see what happens. Hey, look at that. That doesn't look too bad. Yep. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And we have appreciation. I did the wrong one. Hold on a second. Jay's learning class today. Huh? Dad has no idea how to use a computer. Okay, accounts receivable. So this would be a decrease. So we must have, so that's cash that they must have paid additional. And we also have these administrative expenses, has depreciation. Equal. And depreciation always gets added back because it was subtracted out to get the our income here, even though no cash was sent out. You can clean these up if you want. Okay, so that's why. So this is 1. This is 5. Okay, so let's go to number 2. So prepaid expenses.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
I was just gonna say, yes, prepaid expenses increased, so that would be a decrease in that for 170,000.
Yep, that's right. The asset going up. Our cash must have gone down.
Accounts payable.
What are we gonna do with number 3?
Accounts
So if
payable. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say if accounts payable decreased, that means money went out increased. So
So okay, so accounts payable, that's a liability.
Yeah, so
And
or no,
cash
sorry.
also decreased.
Yeah.
yep, yeah. So the cash, yeah, so the cash must have gone down because it, it's a liability that went down. I'm actually gonna skip a thing here, and I'll show you why in a minute. But so let's see, what is that? 3. Oh, that one's not gonna fit. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna do something here. Probably don't need that during the year anyway. Hey, it changed. Oh, that's because I cut and paste. Doesn't matter. This is this spreadsheet. These spreadsheets came from the publisher. Not that I'm trying to throw the publisher under the bus or anything. Okay, now I. That would have been so much easier if I had just typed it in. Okay, so this is negative 275. All right. Number 4, accrued expenses payable decreased during the year. Accrued expenses are like when you owe employees. They're short term. For instance, at the end of the year, maybe the end of the year, falls on a Wednesday, but you don't pay them until Saturday.
So that'd be the same as under number 3.
They decrease, they must have paid it down, yes, yep. Now, there's actually one more current asset that is very sneakily tucked away in the income statement. Ah. Good. What what asset is, they give us information about an asset in the income statement. It's not an asset, it's not an income statement item, it's a balance sheet item, but it's also included in the income statement. What account up in that income statement is also on the balance sheet?
Cost of goods sold.
Yeah, it is a cost of goods sold. Yeah, so this, the cost of goods sold calculations, notice that we have beginning inventory and we have ending inventory. Now, what is that? The decrease. Decrease of,
So it's an increase in the cash flow since they sold that amount,
exactly, yep,
300,000, I guess that is.
I think you're right. I better let Excel do it just to make sure. Yes, a decrease of 300,000, so it'd be an increase. So for inventory, this is much easier than me trying to figure it out. And like you said, it's a plus. I think we got everything. Let's total up and see what it says. Oh, that is it. That's the, so this would be the so net operating cash flows would be this. There's not, I think. Okay. Let's skip the second one that is nearly impossible, and let's go to the ones that the one that's more possible, and that's this one. Problem 22.3. It says direct method here. We're going to use the indirect method. I should change that on there. I like this problem. First of all, I think it gets to the idea of it fairly quickly. Not sure what happened there. Anyway, this is a CMA adapted problem. So this was more than likely on the CMA exam. The CMA exam is, I don't know if you guys talked about it in other, have you guys talked about it in other classes? The CMA exam? It's a certified managerial accountant. I regard it very high. I actually am one. That's not why I regard it highly, but it's a really good exam. The CPA exam is a very narrow exam. It's only for auditing, whereas the CMA exam is kind of for everything. So in that sense, I think it's in some ways it's a superior exam to the CPA exam because it is a very broad exam and it's going to, it's got more things to look at. I'll put it that way. But anyway, so this is a problem similar to what you'd get on that exam. Okay, now we're going to do all three methods. All right, so here's our income statement. We'll make that color. This is actually something a little different down here. Make that color. Wait a minute, that's too close. There we go. Okay. So there is our income statement. So what can we take off of that thing?
Net income.
Yep. That income is 50% tax bracket. That hurts. What else can you take off there? There's actually two more things.
It's
Depreciation.
depreciation and patent amortization.
Yep, and yep. And these both get added back in. Those are both, well, you can see they're subtracted out to get the net income, but all right, one here. Okay. But they are, no cash goes out for them. Okay. This is a retained earnings statement. It looks like they include the income up above there. Okay, so let's go down to the balance sheet here and see what we need from this thing. Okay. So here are the current assets. Oh. Now, we're not going to use the cash one, at least not yet. We'll use it at the end to see if we did it right. But these other three, we're going to do now. U.S. Treasury notes, those are, so they bought U.S. Treasury notes and they must have sold some of them because they went from 50 down to 10. So did the cash go up or down?
Cash went up.
Yep. Good. So I'm going to put it on the side here. So this would be So cash would go up by 40. All right, accounts receivable went up, so cash went
Down.
down. Good. It's an asset. And inventory went up. So cash must have gone down also, right? We bought more inventory. Okay, so let me get that up here. Let's see here. Uh, as the question is, would you suggest getting the CMA over the CPA, and how dreadful is the CMA? I'll talk about that in a minute, but yeah, there are differences between them. I'll just tell you right offhand, it's less dreadful than the CPA exam, I think. Okay, so treasury notes are 40. Just copy those, can't I? Okay, these are all long-term things. We will get to those later. Current liabilities. Now, current liability is going to be a little bit tricky. Actually, it's not going to be tricky. Because I was going to say it's tricky because of this one, but you'll notice that that one didn't change, so there's not going to be anything tricky about it. Okay, so accounts payable. So these are liabilities. So if a liability goes up, what happens to your cash?
Cash goes up.
Yep, good. Yeah, it's like we say borrowing money, your cash goes up. Now you're going to have to pay it off in the future, but initially your cash goes up. So it's the same thing here. And income tax payable went up. So same thing. Borrowing money from Uncle Sam. All right. No, Agnes capital. There's no payable. This is going to go in the financing section, but it's not going in the financing section. It didn't change. Okay, so I think we have everything here. So this would be the net. Operating cash flows. I'll tell you something funny about the me taking the CMA exam. They used to give the exams twice a year, both the CPA and the CMA. You had to take them on, I think it was the first week in June and the first week in December, I think. I can't remember exactly, to be honest with you. But anyway, And so the CPA was first, and then 2 weeks later, the CMA was, and it was the same way every single year. I took the CPA exam. I was sure I failed it. I didn't, but I was sure I did. And so I wasn't going to take the CMA exam at all, but I just crammed for it for 2 weeks. And back then it was 4 sections. Now it's 2. But I think I passed it by the lowest margin in history. You needed a 70% on each section to pass. I passed it with a 70, a 71, a 72, and a 74. Out of all 4 sections, there's only 7 points, and they just happened to, if one of those would have dropped below 70, we wouldn't have got it. But I'm the weakest CMA you'll ever meet. But no, the CMA exam is actually I think it's much more of a reasonable exam, and it's given in 2 parts rather than 4. It's a good, and it covers quite a bit of material. It's sort of similar to like what you get in like a master's degree program. It's kind of similar to that kind of stuff that more focused on making decisions and that sort of thing rather than kind of the details that go into the CPA exam. CPA exam is really nitpicky. It's not. It's focused on one thing, auditing, basically. Okay. So we got the operating cash flows. Now we go to investing. So investing are the long-term assets. Okay. So the land account went up. I don't think they give us any additional information. No. Okay. So the land account went up. So what probably happened to our cash?
It went down.
Yep. Buildings and equipment went up. So again, our cash must have gone down. I can just copy this down, right? Yep. Okay, now look at this accumulated depreciation. It changed in value. What do we do with that? Actually, nothing, because we already got that up here. You notice that's 80. So the accumulated depreciation, so it went up by 80. In this case, it's more negative by 80. I think expensed 80 of it. Again, but this isn't cash. We didn't actually spend cash to, for this negative to go down like that. All right. So this had a change of 80. And the patents had a change of 25. Do we do anything with that? We already did. So these 2 accounts, well, they're on, where am I at? Here we go. These 2 accounts, even though they're on the balance sheet, which they're supposed to be, we've already taken care of these changes through the expenses of above. So we're not going to do anything with those. Okay, so that takes care of. Wait a minute, I didn't write anything in. Okay. Probably I got a 70 on the. Land increased. Things and equipment increased, so our cash must go down. These two are already taken care of. This is depreciation. This is amortization. And those are already taken care of in. Up here. Okay, so now we come down here to long-term stuff. And we also look at dividends. Now, dividends are a little bit tricky on this one. They sent out a stock dividend. They did not send out a cash dividend. This was a stock dividend of 600. So remember, this is a statement of cash flow. So there is not going to be a any cash flow to that. I don't know if you guys gone over stock dividends in your other classes. Sometimes people cover it, sometimes they don't in the equity section.
A little bit. It's where like usually it's for the employees, they do it, stock dividends sometimes as bonuses and things like that.
Yeah. Well, they can definitely do it that way. They can definitely do it through like employee participation. And by the way, if you wonder why they do that, they try to get the employee aligned with the company that gives you give them stock. Now all of a sudden they're aligned with the stockholders. They want to see the stock goes up. If they didn't have any stock, they don't care about the stockholders, and so it's kind of try to make aligning the motivations, I guess. But yeah, and but sometimes they send out these stock dividends, and it's just giving more stock out into the market. Sometimes they do it to save on cash, so they can say that he gave you a dividend, but you're not gonna, your percentage of ownership doesn't change. So if you got if you own 5% of the stock of a company and they send out a stock dividend, you're going to get 5% of the stock dividend, whatever that is, and you're still going to only own 5% of the company. So in that way, it doesn't make much sense. But a lot of times when they do that, they send out stock dividends and along with stock splits. Sometimes it's because the stock is doing very well, and there's good and bad things about a stock doing very well. The good thing is, everybody makes more money. The bad thing is it becomes more expensive and there's fewer people that can buy the stock. So sometimes to get the stock price down, they want to get more stock out in the market. It'll be worth a little bit less, but it'll it generally increases the price. And another reason why it increases the price is that the connotation is that that when the company does pay dividends, they'll keep the same dividend or raise it, and they're paying it on this extra stock. So if you got twice as much stock, even though your ownership percentage isn't more, when they pay a dividend, you'll get twice as much on the dividend because they get, a lot of times they keep the dividend the same. Long story short, there's no cash in there. So the stock dividend, and let's make that green. Kind of far way away. When you come down here to the common stock, you'll see that comes into play. So let's take a look at the stuff that's going to go on in the financing. These notes payable would go in there. However, nothing happened in those. Long-term notes would go in there. But nothing has happened in there. Common stock has increased by 600, but that was them giving out the dividends of 600. The stock dividend. So I don't think we have anything in that section. Nothing in that section. Kind of weird. Usually there's dividends, but these are stock dividends, so that's not going to be in there. All right. So let's see. So this will be net investing. I'm just going to put net you have to put this in. Net financing cash flows is 0. So the net cash flows for the period will be 623. That. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, it'll just be this anyways. 233. Because that's 0. I didn't add that one. I'll add it in. It won't make any difference, right? Okay. And now we're going to look at our beginning cash. We need to get that on. We might still be able to get that on. Okay, so our cash, the beginning cash was 100. So I can't. That's not for cash. Net cash flows were 233. The beginning cash was 100, and so we've explained basically where that comes in. For the non-cash activities, the stock dividend declared would be, you don't have to put this in. Basically, your listing of non-cash activities is so that people will, they might wonder why, well, wait a minute, this common stock account went up. Why didn't why wasn't there any extra cash for it? Well, because it was really just given to people. There no cash came in. Any question on that thing? Now I got to make a decision. uh I tell you what, I'm gonna let's go ahead and take a break. I know it's a little bit early. Well, let's take a break. And I think so. Here's what I think I'm gonna do. But yeah, I'm gonna skip this middle big one. If you want to give it a shot, that's fine. I'll you can I'll help you with it. You go through it, but it's in a very strange format. It's not in a financial statement format, so there's an awful lot of back and forth in it. But anyway, so I think what we're gonna do, we'll take a break, and while we're on break, I'm gonna send out there's also a practice exam for this, and I'll send that out, and maybe you guys can take a look at it and see if you can get through it. And when we come back, we'll see we'll see how you did. So I'm gonna go ahead and send out the practice test. And I'm still I like doing tough problems. I mean, but that's just because it's, I don't know, it's what I like to do. So anyway, all right. Let me go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and send out. So let's say be back at let's say 7 p.m. And I'll be sending out the practice exam to your mailbox.
You sending it through email?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm also going to put it in Blackboard, but I'm sending it through email first. Sorry. It's coming through as a read-only file? Can you save it as something else and then?
No, I tried it and it's not letting me do it.
Oh,
I just downloaded the one off of that you just posted on Blackboard.
does that one work?
Yeah.
Okay, well, maybe I did something wrong here. So no one can get it, right?
It worked for me off of the email.
Okay, well, I don't know, is it? But I don't doubt the emails. My email was used to delete everybody's email before I even read it. And they couldn't figure it out. And they actually, it still does sometimes. And the worst part is the emails it deletes are my the curriculum chair and the dean. Those two almost always get deleted immediately for, there's no filter, there's nothing. They just whatever it is. All right. I think I talked a little bit about the CPA exam and the CMA exam, kind of about what the differences are between them. And the different horses for different, different courses for different horses, kind of like what they, kind of what you want to do. Let's see here. And I'll do the CPA exam first, and then I'll go into with the CMA exam. Okay, certified public accountant. This is a license. I'll put it underneath here, I think. Issued by a state. Okay, so CPA exam. Oh, don't do that. There we go. Issued by the state. So for instance, mine's issued by Illinois. It could be any state though. You must pass a standard exam. Now, the state could have you pass any exam they want. The exam that everybody uses is the AICPA, American Institute of. All right, so they make the CPA exam. And this is just a club. When you pass the CPA exam, they'll ask you, do you want to join our club? And you can, or you don't have to. So it's a license issued by a state. Now, a license for what? For instance, you get your driver's license, that licenses you to drive a car, right? Same thing. Yeah, no, the actual nice thing is you can go from state to state now. It's much easier. It used to be that you had to jump through a bunch of hoops to go from one state to another. One of the really good things that they've done in the last 10 years or so is that all the states have that you can go from one state to another and take it with you. And you can, they may have different requirements like for ethic tests or something like that, but generally if you pay the fees, you can do it. Now you can actually be a CPA, you can actually pass it in one state and then be a CPA in all 50 states and all 4 protectorates and all that kind of stuff. The problem is you're also gonna have to pay dues to all those states. So, well, it sounds like, oh, that'd be a great thing to do. You'd be paying thousands and thousands of dollars for the, but you can say, okay, I'll pass CPA exam in Illinois. Can I go to, but I plan on going to Mississippi. I'm gonna, that's where we're gonna move to, Mississippi, in like 5 years or whatever it is. Yeah, you can take it with you. And what you'll do is apply for and get the CPA license in Mississippi. You have 2 of them. Now you can then revoke one of them. So revoke the Illinois one and then keep the Mississippi one. You can keep them both too, but you're going to be paying the dues for both states, and you'll be licensed in both states. Yeah, so it's much easier nowadays. You can't take it from one state to the other. And again, they all use the AICPA exam, the CPA exam made by the AICPA. Every state uses exactly the same one. It's graded by the AICPA. A state could wake up tomorrow and say they're not going to use it, but I don't think anyone's going to do that. And but they have the right to. But so all of them do. So the AICPA, while it's just a club, doesn't really have any power. It does have some power because of everybody uses their stuff. Now it's a license. It's a very narrow license, unlike a driver's license that you can use every day, and is very, very valuable. The license is to it's for independent financial audit. Oops, not how you spell financial. And these are important. These are, for instance, if somebody, well, it could be any number of ways, but you basically look at their financial statements and see if their financial statements can be relied upon. Only CPAs can do that. So it's a very narrow license. It's only for audits of financial statements. Now, having said that, just the title CPA though carries a lot of weight. People have heard of it. People who have known nothing about accounting know the term CPA. So even though I would say most people get the CPA license, they're not actually doing those audits. I'm not. I get a license. I'm not doing the audit. So, but it does carry that heavy weight to it, and it is a pretty heavy weight. And in our field, it's a pretty heavyweight designation to have. But again, it's a very narrow. The actual license is very narrow, but the exam is set up that way. It's also kind of a weird exam, weird in that CPAs are, because they're licensed professionals like doctors and lawyers, they must be set up in more or less into partnerships. And so you have a partner, you have managers, you have senior auditors, you have associates, people just came in. And so you have all these, but it's not like a corporation. They're set up as more individual structures rather than, say, General Motors or something like that. So it is kind of a weird world that way too. There's an awful lot of what can a partner do? What can an audit manager do? What can an audit senior do? Jobs that many people who are in accounting will never see. They'll never be part of it. If they don't go into a CPA firm, it's not going to, you're not going to see that. So it is kind of a weird exam. But again, it's so recognized, partly because it was one of the first ones, and it's a license. Now, the CMA is not a license. It's not bestowed by the state like a driver's license. So the CMA exam. The CMA exam is not a license. It's issued by the Institute of Managerial Accountants, IMA. They issue it. So if you get it, the license, if you get the designation in Illinois, it's issued by the Institute of Managerial Accountants. You get it in Florida, it's Institute of Managerial. It's the same everywhere. So it's not a license. It is. This is probably the second most recognized designation. It's a two-part exam. And I don't know if they still do this, but well, I'll talk about it in a second. The CPA exam is a four-part exam. Oops. And these are usually 4 hours each. And you usually use all 4 hours. Yeah, so it's a very recognized designation. I know that for myself, I've used CMAs in the same light as I've used CMAs, the CPAs, I mean. It's not a license that it's probably much more functional as far as what most people will be doing. If you're not going to be auditing financial statements, it's probably a better designation. And it opens doors. It's definitely a good one. There's other ones out there too. Oh, I know what I was going to tell you. I got a certified financial planner designation, the CFP, which you guys will never be able to get. They stopped issuing. So, but they came through the IMA. Anyway, they have other things that have taken the place of it. But anyway, when I took the exam for that, the coolest thing, you went into those Prometheus centers, and I took the different parts of the exam, and you hit submit when you're done with it, and then it flashes up on the screen. Do you really want to submit the exam? Yes, I want to submit the exam. You submit it, and it told me right then that I passed, which is way different than the CPA was. It was always you had to wait around, and the wait times are shorter, but it was the coolest thing because you walked out of the place knowing that you'd passed it. So I'm not sure if they do that with the CMA exam also, but my guess is they probably do. But it was really a neat thing to know, just to have that. There's nothing worse than waiting around. Like when I took the CPA exam, we had to wait around 3 months. Wait around 3 months to know if you passed it or not. That 3 months, and through the whole time you're just doubting yourself. But yeah, they were. It was great though that they had that. Okay, I think let's go ahead and finish this up though. Any questions on anything? Maybe I'll put together some stuff out there. There's other designations too. I was a certified fraud examiner. I let them go, to be honest with you. There's other ones, there's, well, I'll kind of put together something, so that you can get an idea of what you want to, if you want to do one of those, and I'd encourage you to. I mean, it's, you got someone looking through resumes, well, I guess it's on the computer now, I won't be doing it this way, but the idea is if you have a designation, it might, you never know what's going to tip it. Okay. So let's go to. Okay. Now, this is so this is what you're going to get for your exam. And you'll notice it's just kind of a list here. And you kind of just play where it go. Where does it go? They may not be in this order, by the way, in your exam. Okay, so we started out with our net income. We have depreciation expense. Does that get added or subtracted?
Added.
Added, yep. Non-cash. Gain on sale of plant assets. Plus or minus?
Minus.
Yep. Yeah, another one of the weird things, gains are subtracted, loss are, but because we're going to move it into a different section. Okay, accounts receivable decreased. So what happened to our cash?
Went up.
Inventory increased.
Negative.
Yep. Accrued liabilities decreased.
Negative.
Yep. Yeah, so the only way they decrease if you pay them. Income tax payable increased. Am I in the right one? Yeah. Plus or minus?
Plus.
Plus. Okay, issuance of common stock. Where does that go?
In the finance section.
Yep. Plus or minus?
Plus, increase.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, issuance is the same thing as selling. Proceeds from the sale of office equipment.
The investing,
Yep.
it's an increase.
Yep, proceeds. Payment of dividends.
It's financial and it's a decrease in the cash.
Yep. Proceeds, where am I at here? Proceeds from the sale of plant assets.
Again, that's the investing.
Yep. Plus or minus?
It's a addition, so
Uh, proceeds from the sale of treasury stock.
Financing,
Yep.
and it's addition.
Okay, so let's see here. So operating cash flow, let me build this or something. By the way, this is a company that's shrinking. If you're wondering how to use this thing, usually you want this investing cash flow to be negative. This is positive. No, I don't know where they're getting the cash from, but down here they're also getting a lot of cash coming in from oh, let's see here. Is that right? Wait. Yeah, that's right. And so all three of those together, start again. Now the beginning cash flow was 32,500. So this would be the ending. Now you'll notice that I don't give you a certain number on here. What is it?
Ending cash.
Yeah. And you might be wondering why. Statement of cash flows can be very frustrating. They just can be. Because people know they should balance and they don't. And this is the statement of cash flows, the only thing that I've ever given out in class that I've had students start crying. Taking the test or doing the problems or whatever. And just to avoid that, I don't put it in there. So and a lot of times, the mistakes are transposition error. Okay, instead of 1,700, they put in 7,100 or whatever it was, and it just wasn't worth it. To have people to put people through that kind of stress for a transposition of a one, a -1 point. So that's why I don't put it in general. But it also makes you a little more. You need to be a little more careful about what you're doing because sometimes you might just throw it in there, and if it doesn't balance, okay, well, it must go the other way then, that kind of thing. All right, any question on that? So the exams that I'm going to send out is going to look a little bit like that. It's probably I'll get it out tonight, but it might be about an hour before I get it out. Any questions on that? Okay, well,
I was in the Excel file. Can you put the document back up?
absolutely.
Thank you. Okay. You just had to add okay, that's it.
Yeah, the beginning cache is this from up here.
Mm-hmm.
I could just put it down here, I guess.
No, it's fine. I just wanted to make sure that's what I was supposed to do because I was working in it over on the other one.
Yeah. So it's and again, that's why I don't put that check figure in there. Could I put it in? Yeah, it'd be really easy to put it in, but at the same time, I don't want to cause more stress than it's worth. And again, a lot of times you'd be surprised at how many times it's simply a math error. And sometimes you can almost predict it. If I put on a test, like what's 80, 80 minus 64. About 20% of the class will put 24. You get these kind of weird, no, I mean, sorry, 64. They'll say, so you say 80 minus 24, they'll say 64. And I've noticed this as a class. I was wondering why, I thought, are they cheating? Are they copying off each other? Is this why it's happening? And I figured out that there's no pattern to it. But if you put 80 minus 24, about 20% of the people put 64. Why, I don't know. I mean, it's something with the way our brains work. So anyway, you get those kind of errors, and it's people getting upset. It's not worth it. Okay, well, I'll send out those exams, and uh-oh, I'm blurry. Mr. Taylor, it'd be like those videos that let me do something here. I bet you if I change videos, it'll... There I am. Okay, so I'll send out the exams, and I'll try to get some stuff together about the different types of designations that they have. CPA and CAMMA, those are the only ones. They're probably the two biggest ones, but they're not the only ones. And I think the CMA is one I think is the most reasonable one. And if you want to know something about what you're going to be doing, one that pertains to your job, I think that'd be a good one to do. Have you guys had Tom Benarsik as an instructor? He used to do a review for it. Dr. Knudsen and myself, we used to do the CPA review, and Tom Benarsik would do the CMA review. But okay, any questions on any of this? So I'll send out the exam. It'll be due by Friday, February 2nd. And don't worry on the I'm going to change the assignment to eliminate problem 22-2. So this be problem exercise 22-2 and problem 22-3, the two problems that we did. You can turn those in Blackboard. Questions? Okay. Well, have a good evening, and I will see you in a week's time.
Professor?
Yeah.
You said the exam was due on the 2nd. You mean the 10th?
Yes. I'm sorry. February.
Okay.
I was about to say, so it's due Friday? I was just about to say the same thing. Okay.
Yeah, my brain doesn't work. I would say not anymore, and it never really did. I got severe ADD, which is actually helps on exams. People don't realize that it helps on like the CPA exam because you notice so much stuff. You notice when they put in a word that changes everything. But all right, no, it'll be due on February 10th, Friday, February 10th, and I will send that out. It should be out within about an hour or so.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks.
Thanks, Professor.
All right. Have a good evening, and I will see you.
Thank you.
Good evening.